from making history again. Down through turn 2, heading down the backstretch. The race well in hand for Jimmie Johnson. The race leader right in front of him there, the 99 of Carl Edwards. What a day for Edwards. He's going to come up on the white flag lap. There it is, just one more circuit.
One good lap.
Nothing any of these guys can do. That hammering you hear is the sound of the nail of the final coffin on the Chase contenders' hopes of upsetting Jimmie Johnson.
Got a lot of champagne, half a lap, bud.
Carl Edwards is going to win the race, but coming through turns 3 and 4, the championship is going to go to Jimmie Johnson. And if you don't think he's going to be one of the greatest, think
You're
again.
looking at the 5-time champion.
You're looking at him.
Tony Stewart seeking his 3rd championship. Rallying back tonight from as far as 40th position. Kind of had the what me worry attitude earlier in the race.
Yeah, what an incredible job by the crew to repair that, Andy. That's not an easy place to make a change and fix a repair.
Yeah, they've overcome a lot tonight. On pit road, they had a mistake, or actually a problem with their pit socket. They had a hole in the grill. But Tony Stewart
White flag here, white flag. Bring it home.
Final lap. Stewart and Edwards, 1st and 2nd. Winner takes the championship.
Yeah, it's just the most incredible run I've ever seen out of a race car driver, what Tony Stewart has done in this chase and tonight.
Yeah, I think it's the best driving I've ever seen, and Carl Edwards did an incredible job too, but this is the man right here, Tony Stewart.
2002, he was the champion. 2005, he was the champion, those driving for someone else. This time, he's an owner driver, and he's going to become a 3-time NASCAR Sprint Cup champion. Tony Stewart wins it. Enough fuel to make the final 3 miles here at Homestead and get to the checkered flag 1 and 2.
I'm sure as Boyer came in here, though, he really wasn't thinking about it. He knew he was in a battle for the 3rd spot. All of a sudden, the doors open for him to finish 2nd in the points.
With all they've accomplished, almost unfathomable that Hendrick Motorsports has never won at this Homestead Miami Speedway. They are 1 lap away as the captain has showed up in his team's pit down from the top of the tower for the final lap. Jeff Gordon leading the race. Brad Keselowski in charge of the championship. After what it's been, it's fair to say, one of the more tumultuous weeks of his storied NASCAR Sprint Cup career. Checkered flag and a win at Homestead for Jeff Gordon.
I'm proud of you guys. That was awesome.
And the checkered flag and a NASCAR Sprint Cup championship. Stock car racing. But Jeff Gordon saw something in Jimmie Johnson that caught his eye, and he talked Rick Hendrick into hiring Jimmie Johnson. Rick partnered him up with Chad Knaus, and to say the rest is history would be a very true cliche. Jimmie running in 8th, while Denny Hamlin looks for a much-needed victory on his own. White flag is up, final lap. Remember, it was in the last race in 2010 when Denny lost the championship to Jimmie Johnson that a lot of folks thought broke his stride for the following year. Had a tough year in 2011. Now Denny's going to end 2013 if nothing goes wrong in this final half lap with a win that just might set him on his stride heading into 2014 after a tough year this year.
Yeah, very well could. What a great performance they've had here today.
Dominated the second half of the race along with Dale Jr. Held him off at the end. Checkered flag. Career win 23. Denny Hamlin, your winner at Homestead Miami Speedway. Matt Kenseth will finish 2nd. And here he comes, champion for the 6th time. It's Jimmie Johnson. Left to go.
Might not be finished with caution by what I'm seeing back in the back part of this.
Boy, Newman's giving it all he's got right now.
Watch him dive down into turn 3 after this 4 car.
coming to the white flag. 1 lap left to go in the season. We're on the last lap.
One more now, one more.
If the caution comes out now, the race is over. Newman trying to stay with Harvick, trying to find a way around him. 2 more corners to go to a championship for Kevin Harvick. He's going to do it. He's going to win the race and the NASCAR Sprint Cup Championship. California.
2 to go.
I love the tone. The tone of the spotter, very calm, like he's sitting next to him at the table, not agitating in his driver at all. Let Kyle Busch does what he do best. Drive this race car to the max of his ability. He's pulled out to a 2.5 lead.
Down the backstretch they go.
By 20. All good here, bud.
20 car lengths between Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick. Coming out of turn number 4. The white flag will go in the air.
White flag. Coming back no matter what. By 20. No
One more time around. Kyle Busch missed the first 11 races of the season with a broken leg and a broken foot after an accident at Daytona.
It's by 20.
Down the backstretch. His closest competitor, just a dot in the rearview mirror. Through 3 and 4. No one has battled through as much pain and had as much perseverance as 30-year-old Kyle Busch. Tonight he earns his first Cup title. Kyle Busch, the 2000. Great restarts by both the 48 and the 22. Kyle Larson drops back to second, but he fights back on the outside. Here comes the 4. Kevin Harvick racing that 22 hard.
Come on, baby. Come on.
Jimmy Johnson out front. They've passed the overtime line.
You know, half a lane higher.
Larson looking to the high side. This time by.
Perfect lap.
White flag in the air. One more time around from Miami. Jimmy Johnson has never won at Homestead Miami Speedway, but he's never been in a position where he's had to win for a championship. Down the backstretch he goes. A half a lap away from the championship. Jimmy Johnson through 3 and 4. Make room. Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt. There's another 7-time champ. Jimmy Johnson wins his 7th NASCAR Sprint Cup championship after another. 2 laps of racing to go as Martin Truex Jr. looking for his first championship. I mentioned earlier, Barney Visser, owner of the team. A heart attack, surgery, watching from home. Longtime girlfriend of Martin Truex Jr. has continued to battle cancer. Sherry Pollux watching intently as they come to the final lap. 1 lap to go, presented by Credit One Bank. The gap still a half a second. Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch running 1 and 2. For the final time, they'll go down the backstretch. Martin Truex Jr., 12 years in the Cup Series, and his roller coaster career is finally reaching the peak, putting an exclamation point on a near perfect season. Martin Truex Jr. is the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. Won 14 races in a row as a youngster, and people have spotted that. They saw the talent, the raw talent that Joey Logano had. And now under 2 laps to go for Joey Logano. Truex Jr., Harvick, Kyle Busch, all just distant in his mirror. The 4 still running in the top 4, but they're just chasing after the 22 of Joey Logano. This time by, it's 1 lap to go, presented by Credit One Bank. 1 lap away from his first Cup Series championship. Joey Logano at 28 years old, fulfilling a dream.
No threat, man. 1-6 still. Slow ones ahead. No pressure. No pressure at all.
TJ Majors giving him the information. No pressure at all. Well, he has risen well above the pressure as he comes out of turn number 4 to claim his first ever Cup Series championship. It's Joey Logano who wins and win the second. 2 laps to go in Miami.
And the only people that can question his championship caliber and the driving ability are people that just don't want him to do well. I mean, this guy, he is a winner, plain and simple.
You saw a statistic there just a moment ago, 55 wins. Right now, that's a tie for 9th all-time wins with Rusty Wallace. All-time. This young man, at just 34 years old, is already in the top 10 all-time wins list for NASCAR. 1 lap to go, presented by Credit One Bank. One more time around. And Kyle Busch, you see him even as wide as the camera shot got there. Nobody around him. What a performance he has put on this evening. 119 laps have been led. Kyle Busch, he's the winningest driver of the decade, and now he is joining elite company. Kyle Busch is going to win his second Monster Energy NASCAR Cup.
Remember, Rick, it took a win a week ago to even be here. Had to win Martinsville to make the championship 4. Did he go back-to-back wins to be a champion?
NASCAR's most popular driver. He can make this last lap and a half. It will only become more popular.
This is important. 1 lap to go. Presented by Credit One Bank. One more time around. 1 mile away from a championship for Chase Elliott. He goes down the backstretch for the final time. The 24-year-old from Dawsonville, Georgia, is about to join his father, Awesome Bill, in elite company. Chase Elliott is a NASCAR
in every kind of race car.
Truex making a little time here. A few car links there, 2 to go.
Half a second separating the top 2.
Kyle's got to stay aggressive.
Cliff Daniels told him to be smooth. Into 3. The gap still 0.6 of a second. 1 lap to go. Presented by Credit One Bank.
Wow, Truex made up a lot of time again in turns 3 and 4.
A huge amount of time.
He's closed the gap. The 5. Now sees the 19. He's getting closer in the mirror. Down the backstretch for the final time.
There's going to be a lap car on the inside. Not going to allow Truex to run that low line that he wants to run.
Kyle Larson a year ago watched the race from North Carolina. Today, he's a Cup Series.
2 to go, 2 to go.
And between his championship 4 competitors, he's never faltered. Only 1 lap, 1 green flag lap, was he not in front of the other 4 or 3 championship 4 contenders. Logano has put together a perfect race, and once again, it could come down to the champion winning the race to win the championship. This time by 1 lap to go, presented by Credit One Bank. His closest competitor for the race win is Ryan Blaney, a teammate. That teammate has been hungry all year long, but it looks like he's going to have to stay hungry going to 2023, because Logano has been the class of the field all day long. The 32-year-old, Joey Logano, he's already built a Hall of Fame career. Today, he etches his name in stone as one of the few to capture multiple championships.